Hello, good evening. My name is Johannes Smith. I am the victim of one of the person who was assassinated in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am the wife of the victim. The assassination took place, was a tourist, international tourist who traveled all over the world, and they assassinated him in Buenos Aires, Argentina, through a Fundación Favalolo hospital. Was supposed to be a very prominent hospital who was dialyzing through a Fresenius franchise. The poor victim was badly bruised from the poor ultrafiltration and the poor treatment. I brought his body for an autopsy down in Washington, Seattle, for research, and unfortunately the victim was killed. I present all the evidence, and I told these people to preserve their blood and evidence for a future autopsy, because the assassination took place very mysterious way, one day as prior leaving the country. So because the very mysterious way in my husband was that I signed a paper not to throw any of the evidence and to keep all the medical records. What they did is to throw all the evidence away. After I already signed this paper, just the same day from his death. Another evidence is the poor person was bleeding to death because the poor ultrafiltration. He has a rectal he was bleeding so badly from the rectum, and he was having a major emergency situations down there when he went as a tourist, and he was a dialysis patient as well, right? He was a very terrible treatment, and he was bleeding from the rectum, and because of poor ultrafiltration and criminal parameters and conspiracy of murder, this poor patient died through Favalolo Foundation. I got evidence to prove, and here, black and white, he was a victim of a murder and a conspiracy of murder, and I brought his body for an autopsy for future evidence. His body was totally bruised. The patient was very badly dialyzed just by looking the bruise, very badly bruised from his arm, because all the bruises they was because he was getting a very poor treatment of dialysis. I signed not to throw the blood away. Just few hours after I proved, I paid for blood work to be done few minutes prior to his death, and they throw all this blood away for the perpetrator to get away with the murder. Could you please, I present his picture of the victim with his death. The victim was alive here, and now he will be murdered in the other picture, because that's when I brought the body from Argentina, Buenos Aires to Washington, Seattle for an autopsy. I asked for the blood to be preserved and all the evidence. All records they was destroyed because the perpetrator they conspired with a conspiracy to be able to get away with the murder. I would like you to take a very clear view of the picture. This was an international patient who traveled everywhere and never was murdered until eventually went into Buenos Aires, Argentina. Could you please, can you present the picture now? The picture. I'm going to present you the picture of my husband with his body dead, and when after a criminal activity was done there, they took the blood on October the 1st, and I asked October the 1st as well to preserve his blood, and they throw it away. So this hospital was involved in a very criminal activity. They intoxicated the patient with potassium gas, possibly. There was an intoxication of potassium gas as well, and that's why the blood was destroyed and make it disappear, right? Would you please, I would like you to go to the Favalolo Foundation for any dialysis treatment. If you are a foreigner who come and dialyze there, and you are a tourist, because you might get murdered, the same like the poor victim of my husband. Well, this has been a terrible loss for me, and a very painful loss for a very good war hero was murdered and assassinated in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I want to present you the picture. Do you present the picture then? So I want you to see the picture and to get a clear view. Okay, thank you very much.